I couldn't believe what I was hearing. As I stood at the gym's front desk holding my wife's bag, the guard's words echoed in my mind. Her husband left this for her. But I wasn't the man he meant. No, it wasn't me. My heart raced as I stood frozen in the gym's lobby, the bag feeling like 100 pounds in my hand. Who had left it for her? And why had the guard called me her husband? Was this some kind of mistake? I needed answers, but everything felt wrong, like a storm had suddenly crashed over my peaceful life, leaving me standing in the middle, helpless and confused. The thought that my wife, my beautiful, kind, and loyal wife, could be hiding something from me felt impossible. She had never given me a reason to doubt her, but what was this? I hadn't planned to drive her Lexus. My car had broken down, and I thought it was only right to help her out. It was a small favor for a wife who had always been there for me, the woman who took care of me when I was well, the woman who loved me for so many years. She deserved my support, but now, everything was unraveling before my eyes. As I turned to leave the gym, the weight of the bag still heavy in my hands, I started replaying the events of the morning. I couldn't shake the nagging feeling that something had changed. Something was different, and it had nothing to do with the broken car. I hadn't thought much of it when she left for the gym this morning. A quick goodbye, a kiss on the cheek, and she was off. But now, I wondered, was that just the beginning of something much bigger than I realized? The walk to the car felt like miles. I could barely hold the steering wheel as I drove back home, my mind racing with possibilities. How could I confront her about this? What would I even say? Could it be true? Could she be? No, I couldn't think like that. She was my wife and I trusted her. But this was something I couldn't ignore. When I arrived at home, I put the bag down on the counter, staring at it like it held all the answers. I tried to tell myself that it was just a misunderstanding. Maybe the guard had made a mistake. Maybe it was a different man's bag and she had just forgotten about it. But deep inside, I knew something was off. It felt like a truth I wasn't ready to face. I walked to the living room where I sat down and tried to clear my mind. The bag wasn't just a bag. It was a sign that something wasn't right. It had to be. I felt a cold shiver run down my spine as I thought about how easily everything I believed in could slip through my fingers, how fragile trust really was. What was the truth? What had I missed? It wasn't long before the front door opened and she walked in. My heart stopped for a second, then started beating faster. I stood up, unsure of what to say. But before I could speak, she smiled and asked, "How's the car? Did you make it to the mechanic?" I stared at her for a moment, the questions I had bubbling up, the bag on the counter a reminder of everything I didn't understand. "Yeah, I did. But there's something I need to ask you," I said, my voice trembling slightly. Her smile faded just a bit, and I could tell she sensed the change in my tone. "What is it?" she asked, her voice soft. I hesitated. The words felt stuck in my throat. Who was the man that left your bag with the guard at the gym?" I asked, my voice barely a whisper. Her face shifted just slightly, but I saw it. It wasn't panic, but there was something there, something that made my heart ache. "What do you mean?" she asked, her voice sounding more distant now. "No one left anything for me. You must be mistaken." I shook my head, unable to believe what I was hearing. "The guard said someone left this for you. He even called me your husband, but it wasn't me who left it there. Why didn't you tell me about this?" She stepped back, her face turning pale as the air between us thickened with silence. Then, her lips parted as if she wanted to say something but couldn't. The room felt like it was closing in on me. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't think. Something was happening. Something was breaking, and I had no idea how to fix it. "Who is he, Maria?" I asked, the words coming out more desperate now. She stood still, her eyes avoiding mine. The silence that followed felt unbearable. And that's when I realized there was no easy way out of this. The truth, whatever it was coming, and it would change everything. I stood there frozen as Maria's silence filled the room. Her eyes were avoiding mine, and my heart pounded faster with each passing second. The air seemed thick, almost suffocating, as if the truth was just waiting to break through, but she wasn't ready to say it. The weight of everything between us, every memory, every moment, every little piece of trust, hung in the air like a storm waiting to strike. "Maria, please," I said again, my voice softer now but still filled with desperation. "Who was it? The man at the gym? Why didn't you tell me?" She finally looked up at me, her face pale and strained. But instead of answering, she took a slow, deep breath, and I saw her shoulders sag slightly. She looked like she was carrying a burden too heavy for her, and for the first time I didn't know how to help her. I'd spent years with her, loving her, and yet now, in this moment, I was as clueless as a stranger. "I don't know what to say, Mark," she whispered, her voice barely audible. "You've always trusted me, and I've always tried to be honest with you, but this is hard." I stepped closer, reaching out for her hand, but she pulled it away gently, like she needed space to breathe. "I'm not asking for anything other than the truth," I said. "What is going on?" Her eyes flickered to the bag on the counter, the one the guard had handed me. It felt like the thing between us, the symbol of the secret that was hiding just beneath the surface. She seemed to hesitate, as if the words were trapped inside her, fighting against something she wasn't ready to admit. "Mark," she began, her voice trembling now, "it's not what you think. I didn't want to hurt you. I didn't want any of this to happen." I swallowed hard, trying to stay calm, but the worry, the fear, the unknown was all consuming. "What do you mean, Maria? Hurt me? What happened?" For a moment she just stood there, staring at the floor, lost in her thoughts. I could see the tears building in her eyes, but she didn't let them fall. Instead, she wiped them away quickly, like she was trying to hide something. "I never wanted to be in this situation," she whispered again. But I made a mistake, Mark, and now it's too late to undo it." I felt my stomach twist. A mistake? What kind of mistake could she have made that was so serious, so deep, that she couldn't even face me directly? "Maria, you're scaring me. What mistake? What's going on?" I asked, my voice cracking with emotion. She took a deep breath and finally looked me in the eyes. "I've been seeing someone else," she said, her voice barely more than a whisper. The words hit me like a punch to the chest. I couldn't breathe for a moment. My heart stopped. "What? What do you mean? You've been seeing someone else?" I repeated, trying to make sense of it. Maria nodded slowly, her face full of guilt and shame. "Yes, I didn't mean for it to happen. It started a few months ago. I didn't plan it, Mark, but it happened. And I didn't know how to tell you. I was afraid, and then I kept lying to myself, thinking that if I just kept it hidden it would go away. But it didn't." I took a step back, feeling like the ground beneath me had shifted. My hands were shaking, and I was trying to hold it together, but everything felt like it was falling apart. The wife I thought I knew, the woman I had trusted with everything, had betrayed me in the worst way possible. The weight of it all was too much to bear. "Who is he?" I finally managed to ask, my voice barely steady. "How long has this been going on?" She closed her eyes like she didn't want to answer, but she knew she had to. "His name is Jason. He's the man the one who left the bag at the gym today. He's the one I've been seeing." I could barely breathe as the name hit me. Jason. The same name that had been on my mind since the guard mentioned it. The same man who had apparently been so involved in her life that he was leaving things for her at the gym, things she hadn't told me about. My mind was spinning. "How long has this been going on, Maria?" I asked again, my voice growing more strained. "A few months," she replied, barely above a whisper. "I tried to stop it, Mark, but I couldn't. I didn't know what to do. I didn't want to hurt you, but I couldn't end it either." I felt like the world around me was closing in. A few months? How could she have been seeing someone else for months without me noticing? I had trusted her completely, and now it felt like I was living in a nightmare. "Why Maria? Why him? What did he give you that I did?" I asked, the hurt and confusion flooding out of me. She looked at me, tears finally streaming down her face. "It's not about you, Mark. It's about me, about what I needed. And I didn't know how to get it from you. I wasn't happy and I was scared. I thought maybe this would fix things, but it didn't. I'm so sorry." Her words didn't bring comfort. They didn't heal the pain. They only added more weight to the wound, making it deeper, more raw. I turned away, needing space to breathe, to process everything. I felt betrayed, angry, and utterly lost. How had everything gone so wrong? How had this happened without me seeing it? But in the back of my mind, one thought kept repeating itself. What was I going to do now? Was I going to forgive her? Or was this the end? "Mark, please," Maria said, her voice desperate. "I never meant for it to go this far. Please don't walk away. Please just let me explain." But I couldn't listen anymore. The shock, the pain, the disbelief, it was all too much. And as I turned to leave the room, I realized one thing: nothing would ever be the same again. And that was just the beginning of it. I could barely bring myself to look at her. Maria's pleading voice echoed in my ears as I stood by the door, my hand gripping the handle like it was the only thing keeping me from falling apart. Her eyes were wide, full of regret, but the damage was already done. I had heard her confession, I had seen the truth, and now everything was different. "Mark, please don't go," she whispered again, her voice cracking as she stepped toward me. "We can fix this. I promise I want to fix it." I shook my head, unable to respond. What could I say? How could I fix something so broken? How could I trust her again after everything she had confessed? A few months. A few months of betrayal that I hadn't seen coming. A few months of lies, of her hiding this from me, of the love we shared slowly slipping through my fingers like sand. "Fix it?" I repeated the words almost bitterly. "How, Maria? How do we fix something like this? You've been seeing someone else behind my back for months. I don't even know who you are anymore." The words felt like they were ripping through my chest as I spoke them. I didn't want to say them, but they were the truth. I had trusted her completely, loved her with everything I had, and now I felt like I was standing on the edge of a cliff, looking down at a life that had shattered into pieces. Maria reached out, her fingers trembling as she touched my arm. "Mark, I made a huge mistake. I know that now. I never wanted to hurt you. I never wanted to lose you." But the truth hit me like a punch to the gut. She had already lost me, and I had lost her. Whatever we had, whatever trust had once existed between us, was gone now. I turned to face her, the words stuck in my throat, but the anger bubbled to the surface, pushing them out. "Why didn't you tell me, Maria?" I asked, my voice rising. "Why didn't you just talk to me? I thought we were partners, that we could handle anything together, but instead you chose to lie to keep this secret from me. Why?" She dropped her head, tears falling onto her cheeks. "I was scared," she said quietly. "I didn't want to hurt you, and I thought I could handle it on my own. I was trying to fix my own loneliness, my own problems. I was selfish, Mark, I admit it, but it wasn't about you. It was never about you." I stared at her, the frustration and pain I felt growing inside me. How could she say that? How could she say that it wasn't about me when everything she had done had everything to do with me? The trust, the love, the years we'd spent together, it all felt like a lie now, and I didn't know if I could ever forgive her for that. "You're right," I said, shaking my head. "It wasn't about me, it was about you, and that's what makes it hurt even more. You chose him over me, Maria, and that's something I don't know how to fix." The silence between us stretched, thick and uncomfortable. I wanted to scream, to tell her how hurt I was, how betrayed I felt. But instead I stood there, feeling like a stranger in my own home. This was supposed to be our safe place, our home, but now it felt like a place where nothing was real anymore. Maria reached out again, her voice filled with desperation. "Mark, please, don't walk away. I'm sorry. I know I can't change what happened, but I want to try to make it right. I don't want to lose you." But it was too late for apologies. Too late for trying to make things right. Her actions had already set everything into motion, and there was no going back. "Mark, I know it's hard, but please," she begged, her voice shaking. "I need you to understand. Jason means nothing to me. He's just a mistake. I never wanted him to be part of my life." But I couldn't listen to her anymore. Each word she said only dug the knife deeper into my heart. "Stop, Maria," I said, my voice finally firm. "You had months to tell me the truth, to be honest with me, and now all of a sudden you want to fix it. You want me to believe you." Her face crumpled and she fell to her knees, sobbing. "I'm so sorry, Mark. I never wanted to hurt you. I love you. Please don't leave me." I watched her, my heart breaking in two, but the anger inside me was still there, too fresh, too raw. I had been a fool. How could I have trusted someone so completely, so blindly, without ever questioning anything? "You love me?" I asked, my voice rising again. "Is that what you call love? Lying to me for months, hiding things from me. How could you do this to me, Maria?" Her eyes widened and she reached out for me. "I was scared, Mark. I didn't know what else to do. I didn't want to lose you, but I felt so alone. Jason made me feel important, like I mattered, but I see now that I was wrong. I see that I've hurt you, and I'll never forgive myself for that." Her words hit me like a wave crashing against a shore. She was sorry. She was scared. She didn't want to lose me, but none of that changed what had happened. None of that could undo the damage she had done. I took a step back, unable to bear the sight of her on the floor, crying, pleading for my forgiveness. "I can't do this, Maria," I whispered, my voice barely audible. "I can't keep living like this. I can't pretend everything is okay when it's not." I turned and walked out of the room, my heart shattering with every step. I didn't know where I was going. I didn't know what I was doing. But one thing was certain. The woman I had trusted, the woman I had loved, was no longer the person I thought she was, and I didn't know how to come back from that. As I stepped into the cold night air, I realized that I was alone, and I didn't know what was next. What would happen to us? What would happen to me? But I knew one thing: this was far from over. And it was only going to get worse. The night felt endless. I didn't know where to go or what to do, but I couldn't go back to that house. Not yet. Not after everything. The streetlights flickered overhead as I walked, my thoughts swirling around me like a storm I couldn't escape. I couldn't believe it. How had we gotten here? How had everything gone so wrong? I thought of all the years Maria and I had shared, the way we had built a life together. The home, the laughter, the quiet evenings where we sat side by side, content in the simplicity of being with one another. But now that was shattered. The betrayal was so deep, so sudden, that I didn't know how to pick up the pieces. I wandered for what felt like hours, my feet taking me to the park we used to visit on weekends. The benches, the trees, everything looked the same, yet nothing felt familiar anymore. It was all just a reminder of what I had lost. I sat down on one of the benches, trying to make sense of the whirlwind of emotions in my chest. I felt betrayed. I felt angry. But mostly I felt hollow, like a part of me had been ripped out, leaving nothing but emptiness in its place. I thought about Maria. I thought about her tears, her desperate apologies. She was sorry, I knew that. But did it matter? Could I forgive her? Could I really go back to the way things were? I didn't have the answers, and that scared me. As I sat there, the cool night air biting at my skin, I thought about Jason, the man who had come between us. I didn't even know what he looked like, but I hated him. I hated him for what he had done, for what he had taken from me. I hated the idea that he had been with Maria, that he had been the one to make her feel important, when I had been the one by her side all along. But as the anger bubbled up inside me, I realized something. It wasn't just about him. It was about her. Maria had made the choice. She had chosen to be with him. She had chosen to hide it from me, to lie to me, to betray everything we had worked for. And that choice, no matter how much she apologized or begged for forgiveness, was something I couldn't erase. I got up from the bench, my legs feeling weak, and started walking again. I didn't know where I was going, but I needed to move. I needed to clear my head. The more I thought about everything, the more I realized that I couldn't keep doing this. I couldn't keep pretending that everything was fine. I couldn't keep living in this lie. I needed space. I needed time. But most of all, I needed to figure out who I was without her. Because right now I didn't know. I didn't know who I was, what I was supposed to do, or how to move forward. After a few hours of walking, I found myself in front of a small coffee shop. The lights inside were warm, inviting, and for a moment I considered going inside to sit and clear my mind. But before I could make up my mind, my phone buzzed in my pocket. I pulled it out, hoping it wasn't another message from Maria, but when I saw the name on the screen, my heart skipped a beat. It was Jason. I stared at the screen for a moment, unsure of what to do. Should I answer? Should I ignore it? My gut told me to hang up, but there was something in me that couldn't resist. I pressed the button to answer the call. "Hello," I said, my voice steady but laced with anger. There was a brief pause on the other end of the line, and then a calm, almost too calm, voice responded. "Mark, I know this is probably the last person you want to hear from, but we need to talk." I didn't say anything. I just stood there, gripping my phone, my thoughts racing. I had imagined this moment 100 times in my head, but now that it was here, I didn't know how to respond. How do you talk to the man who's taken everything from you? "I know you're angry," Jason continued, "and you have every right to be, but I need you to hear me out. This isn't just about Maria, it's about something bigger than that." I scoffed. "Bigger than that," I repeated, the anger rising in my chest again. "What could possibly be bigger than what you've done?" There was a long pause on the other end of the line, and for a moment I thought he might hang up. But then he spoke again, his voice quieter, more serious. "I didn't want to hurt you, Mark. I never meant for any of this to happen. But Maria, she's been hiding something from both of us. Something I think you need to know." I felt my pulse quicken. What could he possibly know? What was Maria hiding from me now? I gritted my teeth, trying to keep my composure. "What is it?" I asked, my voice strained with tension. Jason hesitated, and when he spoke again, it felt like a bomb dropped. "Maria been seeing someone else, Mark. Someone before me. And I think you deserve to know the whole truth." My breath caught in my throat. The room around me seemed to spin, and for a moment I didn't know if I was hearing him right. "What do you mean?" I asked, my voice barely a whisper. "She wasn't being completely honest with you," Jason continued. "There's more to this than just me. She's been carrying a secret for a long time, and I think you should know what it is." I was about to respond, but before I could say anything, Jason hung up the phone. The line went dead, and for a moment, all I could hear was the pounding of my own heartbeat in my ears. What was this? What secret had Maria been hiding from me for so long, and why was Jason telling me this now? I had no answers, only more questions. And as the night stretched on, I realized that nothing about this was going to be simple. There was more to this betrayal than I ever imagined, and it wasn't over yet. I turned around and walked back down the street, my mind racing. Whatever was coming next, I knew I wouldn't be ready for it. But one thing was certain: I was going to find out the truth, no matter what it took. And that truth was about to change everything. The truth had a way of unraveling everything I thought I knew about my life. As I stood there in the darkness of that cold night, my phone still buzzing with unanswered questions, I realized I was no longer in control of anything. The world I had built with Maria, the love, the home, the years of shared memories, was slipping away, piece by piece, and there was nothing I could do to stop it. Jason's words echoed in my mind, louder than the whir of the busy city around me. "She's been hiding something from both of us." He had sounded so calm, so certain. But what did he mean? What secret was Maria holding on to? And why had Jason, of all people, been the one to reveal it to me? I couldn't shake the feeling that I had been living in a lie all this time. The life we had built felt like a facade now. I wanted to be angry at Maria, to confront her with everything I had learned. But deep down, I knew it wasn't that simple. It never was. I walked back home slowly, my mind clouded with confusion and pain. Every step felt heavier than the last, like I was walking through thick mud. When I reached the front door, I hesitated, my hand lingering on the doorknob. Should I confront her now? Should I ask her about what Jason had said? The truth was, I didn't know if I was ready to hear more lies, but I couldn't walk away without knowing everything. I needed closure. I needed to understand why she had done what she did. I stepped inside, the familiar smell of our home hitting me like a punch to the gut. It used to feel like a sanctuary, a place of peace. Now it felt like a prison. I walked into the living room where Maria was sitting on the couch, her face pale, her eyes red from crying. She looked like she hadn't slept, like she had been waiting for me to come home, to finally confront her. I took a deep breath, steeling myself for what was to come. "Maria," I began, my voice trembling, "I need to know everything." Her eyes widened and she stood up quickly. "Mark, please. I know you must hate me. I know I've ruined everything, but No, I cut her off, my voice sharper now. "I need the truth. No more lies, no more secrets." She looked at me, tears welling up in her eyes. "I never wanted to hurt you, Mark. You have to believe me. I never meant for any of this to happen." I took another step forward, my frustration bubbling to the surface. "Then why, Maria? Why didn't you tell me? Why didn't you just come to me and say something? Anything?" She took a shaky breath, wiping her eyes. I didn't know how to tell you. I was scared, Mark. I was scared that you would leave me, that you would never forgive me. So I kept it all inside. I thought if I could fix it on my own, if I could make it go away, maybe everything would be okay again. But I see now that I was wrong." I stared at her, my heart torn between the anger I felt and the love that still lingered somewhere deep inside me. "What do you mean? What are you talking about? What else are you hiding from me?" She looked down, taking a deep breath. "There's someone else, Mark. Someone I've been seeing for longer than I care to admit." I felt my chest tighten as the words hit me like a thunderbolt. "Who?" I asked, my voice barely more than a whisper. She hesitated, then finally spoke. "His name is Ben. I met him about a year ago. He was just a friend at first, but things changed between us. It was never supposed to happen, but it did. I didn't mean for it to get so complicated, but I couldn't stop it. I couldn't stop myself from falling for him." I felt the world tilt around me. Ben. Another name, another secret. It felt like everything I knew about Maria, everything I thought was real, had been built on lies. I wanted to scream, to shout at her, to demand answers, but I couldn't. I was too exhausted, too broken. "Why didn't you tell me, Maria? Why didn't you just be honest with me from the beginning?" "I was afraid, Mark," she said, her voice barely audible. "Afraid that you would leave me, that you would never forgive me. I couldn't lose you." I shook my head, the weight of everything hitting me all at once. "And now you want me to forgive you?" She nodded slowly, her tears falling freely now. "I know I don't deserve it. I know I've ruined everything. But I'm asking you, please, don't leave me. I love you. I need you. I want to make things right." For a moment, I just stood there, staring at her. The woman I had loved, the woman I had built my life with, was standing before me broken, admitting to everything I never thought I'd have to hear. And yet, no matter how much I wanted to hate her, no matter how much I wanted to walk away, I couldn't. Love wasn't that simple. It wasn't just about what happened in the past. It was about what came next. And in that moment, I realized that this wasn't just her mistake. It was mine too. I had allowed myself to ignore the signs, to trust her without question, to believe that everything was perfect when it was. Maria was right about one thing. She didn't deserve forgiveness. But maybe, just maybe, I didn't deserve to be stuck in this pain either. "I don't know if I can forgive you, Maria," I said, my voice filled with hurt. "I don't know if we can fix this, but I need time. I need to figure out if I can trust you again, if we can move past this." She nodded, her face a mixture of guilt and relief. "I'll wait. I'll do whatever it takes, Mark. I love you." And just like that, everything was still. The chaos, the anger, the betrayal, it all settled into a quiet, uneasy silence. Nothing had changed, but everything was different. I didn't know what the future held. I didn't know if Maria and I could rebuild what had been broken. But I did know this. It was going to take time, time to heal, time to trust again, and most of all, time to figure out if we could still be the people we used to be. And as I stood there in the stillness of the night, I realized that forgiveness wasn't something I could give on command. It wasn't a decision I could make in the heat of the moment. But maybe, just maybe, it was something I could work towards. For now, all I could do was walk away, one step at a time, one day at a time, and hope that someday I would find the strength to let go of the past and move forward. But that was a journey I couldn't take yet. Not today, not tomorrow, but maybe someday.